Well, here we are, still. It's the old instructional jamboree, isn't it, like? We're working with the Clapton style woman tone of a Mexican Fender Stratocaster, where we've had a little bit of help in configuring the tone and volume controls in order to access this particular sound. We had to put some extra overdrive on it in order to make it sound. So, we spoke before about the Last Waltz. Robbie Robertson, the Scarf, great player. Often he was reduced to having to play with the softest little guitar sound. He got us just to search at the Last Waltz. He got a great guitar sound that night, you know. He played that nice red Strat, didn't he? Nearly like a burgundy job. But you know, I was watching a live video of King Harvest Will Surely Come. I work for the union because she's so good to me. Yeah, that's when you gotta go on strike. All that other nonsense, you know what I mean? Whatever Robertson was writing then too. You know, because he's a bit like McCartney, isn't he, Al Robertson? Lee Von Helm wasn't happy with him. You know, he came out in his book and he slated him and all that there. Like, but he was just one of those guys who happened to be able to do like quite a few different things. There were certain things he was absolutely atrocious at. Man can't sing enough to save his life, you know, yet pursue the whole solo career, you know. So sometimes you're cashing in jackpots every couple of weeks, and you know what I mean. You kind of have your time, don't you? You have your prime, you know, and you might enjoy an Indian sunset later on, you know. So him and Clapton, then Clapton comes on like Scorsese, Fullerman, and all, of course, like, and it's hanging on up the road. I'm gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Hanging on up the road. I'm gonna hurt me like you hurt me. When you mistreat someone, no one gonna mistreat you. So that's kind of what Clapton was doing on that. If you watch his stuff and you buy into the myth of post-Cream decline for Eric Clapton and his guitar playing, that's one of the rare instances. Thank God it was captured as well as it was indeed. That you know, he showed what he could really do. Like, you know, for whatever reason, maybe his head got twisted, being God and all that. There it was like, yeah, he wanted to go and try something else for a while. Because very occasionally you do hear even some of the very modern things that every now and then he just shows. He reminds you, he's like, I'm still Clapton, like, you know. But you see, by that time, like, I like Clapton, but I love Peter Green. You know, Clapton was doing, what would he do? Like, not used to these escapes. Now you hear those slight bends and those strings. You can do that on any note on a lick you play, and it'll characterize your playing and give it a personal touch and identity, and that's something that you can open up then and explore. You can put and get little effects, you know. You can do it with your thumb down here. You can all this and go. And he's like a John Lee Hooker type of effect. Buddy Guy, you know, all that old stuff. And that's another way of establishing or chasing, you know, your own voice and stuff like that. Outside of the actual notes that you play, you know, it's just how you accent them, articulation, and all of that nonsense, which is one of those big words that people like me can use to give the impression that they're completely complicit in the development of somehow BS, you know. So anyway, I was into Peter Green, and Peter Green's thing was, well, where was he? Would it have been up here? We'll go to B flat. He had that little lick, didn't he? So something like that. You know, he would do those ones. So he was kind of stealing off Clapton, but he distinguished himself by exhibiting whatever crazed little imagination he had that allowed him to form phrases that were much more longer and complex and quite sophisticated, even in their beauty and stuff, with what Peter Green could do. But I think too, there's a problem there. Is once you get into Peter Green, you're like Clapton, like, you know what I mean? It should have been Peter Green, you know what I mean? But if you really take an honest appraisal of what Clapton can do, it's, you know, you get like a renewed appreciation or something, you know. Peter Green was great, and Clapton was good too, wasn't he? The Beano album and all that nonsense, like, you know what I mean? Or when he was in Tommy, the film with the Who and all, do you mind the solo he played at that? He's like the high priest. So anyway, as I was saying sometimes you get inhibited or you get let down by the sound of your guitar, which Robbie Robertson, I don't know if he chose to play with those particular sounds or it's just what happened that day by the time they actually got to the house and get the wood stove burning and all that there. But he got on with it and he made the best of what he had there. Maybe they said to themselves, you know what, this guy's writing all these songs and he's getting the royalties as far as we know. So, like, no, what I ain't gonna do, I'm gonna turn off this distortion. You know, so I think somebody did that to this guitar because they hated Eric Clapton. And this was like a symbolic sort of thing. I don't think it was anything to do with me personally. I hope not. So what seems to be going on is that the bass string isn't really lifting or sounding. So let's go, if we go like this, right? Now see if you play blues like that, one finger to a fret. Obviously you've got to be careful when you're bending with little finger, but it gives you, it's a little more acrobatic, if you know what I mean. And you can mix up your scales as you go. You know, some nonsense, like, you know what I mean? So if we go here, I may go, it's barely discernible. Now we'll go a bend on each string, right? Acceptable, yeah. Let's try the G string, right? Oh yeah, good power out of that. And you've hit a good spot on the guitar according to how it's being set up and where your sounds are. So you're finding your sweet spots, you know. Let's try this B, right? And we'll just do that from a flat 7th up to the kind of octave or whatever in the key, right? So we go, it's dead. So what's going on? Is that a wee nut? No, there's no problem with that. There's something wrong with your ears. It's like, right, did I just pay you £140? So, and one thing I've noticed is that you see these little, are they pole pieces? I'm not sure. On the high E, yeah, they're down a bit more than they should be. On the B, they've been swamped. So, you know, Robbie Robertson, he wasn't as good as Clapton and a straight up, blues guitar setting and all that. But he fucking did his best, didn't he did his best, like. And see, when Clapton's strap broke, he was quite merciful. He gave him a wee break. He says, I'll get right in here. He actually supported him. I'm sure he was tempted just to go, I'm gonna ruin this Clapton one night. Like, his strap's away. I'm gonna fucking go for it. But so, and what was the song they played? All those ones. And it goes. I walked 75 miles of barbed wire, did this and that, and all, you know what I mean? So there you go, and seeing as we're working at a Belfast, guys, Gerry Anderson. He's a Derry man, I believe, but obviously like all over. He played with that guy, what's his name that does that out tune? We got it now, Ronnie. Whatever his name is, that guy. Yeah, the Hawks, Ronnie Hawkins. Ronnie Hawkins was good, like, but Gerry Anderson played with him, played bass with him, apparently. He must have been good. Al Anderson must have been good on the bass. Not a bad broadcaster. He's alright. Good night.